So we saw some of the characteristics of AWS API Gateway in the previous video, and you will get more understanding about API Gateway when you actually try out an example, which we will see in our next section. But to give you a brief overview, AWS API Gateway is fully managed. Basically, you don't have to maintain the servers for the API management. It is taken care by Amazon. And to give you a brief idea, basically what happens is in API Gateway, you create APIs and you will invoke a URL, and that URL will then call your Lambda function. So for instance, if you invoke a URL with /products, so it will invoke your Lambda function, and then in the Lambda function you will write a logic to retrieve the products from DynamoDB or your RDS, and then return a JSON back. So that's the basic understanding of API Gateway, where you can use Lambda as a backend and manage the front-end APIs from API Gateway. And you can not only use Lambda as the backend, you can also use other services like your own server as a backend. So here is a sample web API implementation in AWS Lambda. So in the resource section, basically if you invoke /products, it will invoke get all products function in AWS Lambda, and it will return a list of products. And similarly, we have a similar situation where if you want to create a new product, you invoke a URL /products and post your product data, and then in the back it will invoke create product Lambda function, and then it will enter a database entry, which you will have to write the code to insert the row in the database, of course, in your Lambda function or in your backend. And then you can also have get and delete, where you can create a product where you pass in an ID, then you pass in the ID to your create product by ID Lambda function, and then it will retrieve that product and then return it back with JSON or any of your preferred formats. And the same is the situation with delete. It will invoke the delete product by ID Lambda function. So basically you write your logic inside Lambda function. That is something you will have to do, of course, and you will create your APIs in the AWS API Gateway or Amazon API Gateway. So basically this is just a sample implementation slide. We may not go through all these functions practically, but you can try it out yourself. And so by now you might have a basic understanding of what is API Gateway. So now let's look at a practical example of API Gateway to make things clear.